So I thought that I would make some videos about my process of finding new assets. Cryptocurrency, 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 cryptocurrency. Some of the most incredible assets that I've ever found have been found this way. In fact, I have an entire list of assets that are in my asset list that came from doing a search here. As far as I know, I have my own methods for doing that. I kind of just search for whatever the popular thing is for the day. Go through the short list of that and give myself a long number of minutes before I come back and do it again. In other words, sometimes I might come back and do it again the next day. As long as that list keeps getting refreshed with new things that I may or may not have seen before. I believe that just about any time the number one asset ever is still going to be Bitcoin. But those are just my personal feelings about it. However, branching out like this the biggest thing that I think that it can do, for me anyway, is give me another perspective on the general market. This is more or less what my entire strategy is based around. At this particular time, I choose to not stick with any one asset. I still have my preference, of course, and there are other preferences that I do have. Ripple XRP will always probably be my number one outside of Bitcoin. And since I'm doing an altcoin video, I guess I may as well say that that will be followed by well, Matic, they're now called Polygon, whatever, whatever. And respectfully, BTTC, BitTorrent, will always be my top ones. But, of course, that is with all respect to Litecoin, LTC, Ethereum, ETH, Remark, RMRK, and Doggy, DOGE. With all respect to every one of those. I do list them in somewhat of a particular order. I'm also a big fan of the actual particular stock market, particular, and commodities. Studying absolutely all of them can give you such an incredible full scope of what the worldwide market place looks like in general, essentially. Yeah. So at this time, here we have Aether, ATH. As far as this chart is reporting, this thing has been around for a number of days. For a number of days, this chart's been around. And what I'm seeing here is a flat consolidation. It's one of my favorites. And quite frankly, if this thing were to hold, and I do think that it should, may want to or need to or want to have a little bit more consolidation time ahead of it. Really only a number of days, probably. and it should be ready to show something. Now it kind of looks like it's going for some lows right now, which that's a nice thing to me. I may go into detail about that at a different particular time. Maybe. So far, I like what I'm seeing here. And if in a number of days, this thing were to set up, I would be quite interested in taking a long on this. However, I have at times seen consolidations like this get to the very end of their setup, or what I would usually assume to be the end of that consolidation. Anyway, and then get pressed down, which puts them into a breakdown consolidation, and they usually end up going into some kind of bear market. And whenever it's a setup like this, those things can take some time. They are still tradable in that time, though. Although they are a different species, it feels like. They usually have unique volatilities. Now, sometimes these start from a very low and work their way up, and sometimes they work from a very high and come down to something like this. The fact that this one starts from a high and doesn't have a whole lot of consolidation is a little different. I really prefer for them to start from a low sometimes, and go up into a consolidation like this. However, these flat consolidations usually are after a high, and then they come down and form structure like this. So given this situation, I would definitely assume that there should be some kind of heavy resistance on a breakout. And I would most definitely like to see this thing set up before I make a move on it. And I'm talking a strong setup. Because if this thing were to decide that it wanted to just go, I would probably just watch it. Unless I just felt like playing around a little bit. Because there's a reason I'm talking about it, and it is because I do respect it. Regardless of what it does, I do think it's viable. But that's how the stock market is. That's how cryptocurrencies are. You always play them with a certain deal of respect and reverence. Respect, 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 respect. And you mostly just want to kind of know how to monitor them for the most part, really. And of course, you want to know when the setup is no longer something you want to do, when it's no longer the kind of deal that you want to have. Setup, 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 setup. Yeah, you gotta really probably need to or want to know when it's just not acceptable anymore. Because something like this, it kind of breaks down fast whenever it wants to break down. And I'm talking like on something like this, I would probably be on the 3 hour, which is an eighth of a day time frame. Seeing if I want to stay with it. And that's a macro on some of these. Yeah. Yeah. Which also brings me to the point that, well, here we go. Here's a little bit of an advanced something. You kind of want to know which time frame the particular thing favors, generally. Maybe. Generally. Because a 1 day time frame on something like this can be a very large time frame. And of course, then you have the whole finding a chart for something like this that you tend to possibly like. Could be. Because a chart like this could be very crisp, or a chart like this could have a lot of wicks. A chart like this could have a lot of variables in its reporting, and a chart like this can have a number of sources. But yeah, this thing going for a low right now. That tells me that it's getting close to something interesting. It's very possibly not going to be messing around for a whole lot longer. As if that's even what it does. That's not really what a chart does. That's just a fun way to put it, if you want to. If you desire to. If you want to. So anyway, my name is Andrew Neil Shaun, Mr. Screen name, Master Andruu, IVIaster space Andruu, also IVIaster space Andrew.